Right, from the struggle for democracy to the freedoms we enjoy today, Nigeria's joy has been one of resilience. As we are still in the euphoria of the remembrance of June 12, 1993, we reflect on the gains, the challenges, and the hope for a stronger nation. Welcome to the agenda today on Dominion Brokers Group. I am Chike Obogu. The historic June 12, 1993 elections, a day that symbolizes the power of the people. On the agenda today, we'll examine the gains of democracy, hear from my guests, and ask how far have we truly come. But before then, let's take a look at some events that took place yesterday in Nigeria. In Oyo State, the coalition of civil socialists, labor activists, and students against hardship and hunger protested yesterday. They took to the streets of Ibadan to protest against what he termed economic hardship, insecurity, and genuine electoral reforms. They staged the peaceful protests along Mokola, Adamasingba, Dugbe, and its environs, calling on both the federal and state governments to listen to the cry of the masses. Their demands include end hunger, hardship, insecurity, reverse all international monetary fund, World Bank funds, anti-poor policies, and end attacks on democratic rights for genuine electoral reforms. Before we move further, let's get to listen to some of those protesters on the streets yesterday in Ibadan. Let's get to see what happened yesterday around Mokola, Adamasingba, Dugbe axis on the agenda this morning.
Civil society organization in Ibadan known as Oyo State Coalition of Socialists, Labor Activists, and Students Against Hardship and Hunger as they stage a peaceful protest in Mokola area of Ibadan. The protesters carrying placards with different inscriptions to drive home their requests says Nigerian leaders have failed the masses who elected them into office.
Democracy our people fought for. This is not the democracy. What we have today is basically autocratic government, where some few people are ruling the majority. So today we are here again to demand for good governance like we have been doing. Demand for reversal on subsidy removal, demand for electricity, demand for quality education, demand for food, and end to starvation, and end to hunger, and end to suffering in Nigeria. And we have a word for President Tinubu. If he knows he's not capable, because obviously he's not capable, he should resign and leave the office.
That's what Tinubu is doing today. It's politics, not governance. 2023 hope, like he said, but the hope has become a mantra. It has become a slogan. There's no hope. That hope has been done.
They, however, demanded for reforms that will bring about positive change and developments.
The kind of reform that can advance the economic interests of Nigerian working people, first and foremost, is to ensure that all our four refinery that is currently in the state of comatose is revamped and renationalized under democratic control and management of the people. If that is done, the question of subsidy will die in natural death, the question of importation of fuel will die in natural death, and the outrageous price of petrol will crash.
The quest for justice, fairness, and true democracy remains the call for these Nigerians as they carry the memory of June 12 presidential election.
All right, joining me this morning to discuss this and the gains of our democracy is a brokers journalist, media manager, and political communication expert. He's also the chairman, CEO of Rave 91.7 FM and Western Springs Television, Dr. Femi Adefila. Good morning. It's good to have you on the agenda this morning.
Good morning, Chike. It's a pleasure to be back.
Well, I see you're radiant, and then you also have this hope, too, for a better country,
That's
a
right.
better Nigeria.
We should all be
Well,
optimistic.
you saw the protesters on the streets.
That's
You
right.
just watched that clip. Well, what they've been clamoring for all the while has also been what was part of the campaign for 1993 SDP. this life don't tire, I don't tire. Now, so what are we doing? Fine. Now, so you know, still the same thing after 32 years.
That's right.
How do we rigmarole out of this murky waters of poverty, of economic retardation at this time?
Well, thank you so very much. It is, number one, a fundamental human right of every Nigerian to protest. Protest means I have ideas, or I'm not happy or at home with government ideas and policies. And the best way to hear your view as a citizen is to protest peacefully. So I support the protest 100%. If a protest is even one of the cardinal principles of democracy and enshrined in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. But you may not agree 100% with their demands, but you must acknowledge their right to protest. Talking about democracy, people say, Yoruba will say, "Amfi odun, yin odun," which means that one government, the previous government is always better than the present government. That has been the history of Nigeria, and it's very unfortunate. And it's because we have not gotten to where we ought to be. But I want to agree that democracy has been very beneficial to us as a people. Democracy gives us the right to speak. What we are discussing here today, you dare not try it when Abacha was the military head of state of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Dr. Adefila, we'll still come back to the gains of democracy.
That's
because
right.
These are the gains of democracy.
That's right.
But the protest yesterday, part of the rights, fundamental human rights of Nigerians and protesters. Well, still yesterday, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, while addressing the joint session of the National Assembly, took a swipe on the major opposition party in the country, the PDP, advising her to put her house in order. He also expressed his joy for her being in disarray. Wow, what a precedent. Let's get to listen to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on the opposition yesterday.
I sincerely welcome our party's newest members from Delta and Akwa Ibom states, led by Governor Sheriff Oboweri and Pastor Umo Eno and other national members of this respected National Assembly. You are all welcome to the progressive fold. Nobody should close the door. Political parties fearful of members leaving may be better served by examining their internal processes and affairs rather than fearfully conjuring up demons that do not exist. For me, I would not say try your best to put your house in order. I will not help you to do so either. It is indeed a pleasure to witness you in such a disarray.
Have you ever wanted to...
Right, Mr. President speaking there. He was so emphatic about his last statement. He said, "It's a pleasure for me seeing you in disarray." Did you watch his face? Dr. Adefila, how democratic is this statement on a democracy day?
I don't think there's anything undemocratic about it.
Okay.
And that's the truth. Nigerian constitution recognizes multi-party system of government.
Yeah.
And we have so many political parties. But the ruling party is APC.
Yeah.
Don't forget, primarily, Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a politician. He became president riding on the back of a political party. So that political tendency is very much within him. And I think it's pure escapism.
Okay.
If opposition parties are alleging that they have so much disarray within their fold because government is firing missiles into their midst, I ask you, Chike, is it my responsibility to maintain harmony, unity, cohesion in your household? If there's no harmony in your household, there's no cohesion, there's no unity, and you blame me, you have failed, you are irresponsible. The ultimate measure of a leader is how much you are able to manage your household, your space, and fence it off against the assault and onslaught of opposition.
This opposition party was not decimated during the administration of Muhammad Buhari. They seem to be decimated in this administration, just 2 years into this administration. Does it mean that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the author of opposition?
I will ask you that question. He's not the author of opposition, or what I'm saying is this. I'm not speaking for him.
Okay.
But I'm not happy that the opposition in Nigeria, they are very drab, inactive, ineffective. Bola Tinubu played the opposition party and politics so well. He's not a product of opposition party politics. But it is not the duty of government in power to maintain cohesion in PDP or Labour Party. They say most often than not, the issues within their parties are contrived by the ruling party. But I say that is pure escapism. You don't want to accept or take responsibility for your failures. PDP should get its act together, organize its household. You know why they are in disarray? The only thing that unites Nigerian politicians is power. Where there's no power in the horizon, they are not united. They are disunited. That is the truth. If PDP were to be in power, you will see how hand will be milling around the honey. Because they are not in power. There's nothing to coalesce around.
Yeah.
And it speaks to the integrity of Nigerian politicians.
The PDP seem defeated at the moment from their statements.
That's right.
And then
That's no
it
doubt
could be
about
very
it.
difficult for them to get their acts right.
Especially at the center.
Yeah.
They are defeated because there's nothing at the center for them. And it
But they
speaks
have
to the
one man at the
credibility
center.
and integrity of PDP politicians.
But they have one man at the center.
Who is this man?
Nyesom Wike. He's at the center.
Yeah, he's
playing
working-
the central politics.
Wike is not pretentious about where lies his loyalty. He's a member of the PDP, who has made it clear, crystal clear. You don't need to look at the crystal ball to know where Wike will swing his political pendulum in 2027. He made it clear, I am supporting Bola Ahmed Tinubu, but I remain a member of the PDP. It is now the responsibility, it beholds on politicians within PDP to show him the door. Are you saying Wike is bigger than everybody within the PDP?
Well,
is he invisible? Is he a spirit? Can they deal with him and tame him?
all right, Dr. Adifila,
Yeah.
when you look at the permutations on ground, before we go to the next
Yeah.
thing, you find out that we're not talking about governance now.
That's right.
We're talking about politicking. Just 2 years into an administration. And then the next thing we're talking about is 2027.
Very
Does
unfortunate.
it seem, or does it look like the 2026 political calendar has been edited from the polity of the Nigerian state?
It's very unfortunate that we are starting politicking this early. And there's no way that the government will not be distracted. And that speaks again to our party politics as a nation. Politics is business. We spend most time politicking. And we should start to look at democracy beyond the ballot. We see democracy within the prism of the ballot, elections, conducting elections. What of the dividend of democracy? And that's why we ask this question rhetorically. Is democracy and good governance mutually exclusive or mutually inclusive? What Nigerians want is good governance, good hospital, good schools, infrastructures, good road, security. Those are dividends of good governance.
Yeah.
But most often than not, we busy discussing democracy from the prism and the bracket of ballot, of elections. And Nigerian politicians are busy politicking, but they are not busy delivering the dividends of democracy that should percolate down and manifest in form of good governance. That's why we are just 2 years, barely 2 years into his administration. We're already thinking of 2027, and everybody is decamping.
Yes. People are just moving, swinging to just one party.
That's right.
And that's why Mr. President has also addressed the insinuation of the one-party state ideology. Let's get to listen to Mr. President on the agenda this morning.
I plead for your indulgence so that I may put a terrible rumor to bed. To those who ring the alarm that the APC is intent on a one-party state, I offer you a most personal promise. While your alarm may be as a result of their panic, it rings an error. At no time in the past, nor any instance in the present, and at no future junction, shall I view the notion of one-party state as good for Nigeria. I've never attempted to alter any political party registration with INEC. Equally, my dear friends and colleagues, we cannot blame anybody seeking to bail out of a sinking ship, even without a life jacket. Look at my political history. I will be the last person to advocate such a scheme.
Very fierce politician, very vociferous. And if you watch Mr. President's face yesterday, you will see him stern, confident while speaking. He showed power. He exhumed power. He said, there's nothing wrong in people moving from one ship. You know, a sinking ship, even without a life jacket. The PDP has no life jacket now.
That's what it seems.
I mean, the politicians in the PDP, you know, no life jacket, so those that will save themselves are jumping ship.
Because our parties were not structured on the basis of ideology and philosophies. If you cast your mind back and retrospect, in 1998, people just came together.
Yes.
And the military registered political parties. Thereafter, many political parties have been registered. People coalesced around some ideas. Strange bedfellows. No convictions, no ideologies, no philosophies. They wanted special purpose vehicles to ride into the governance space. So PDP was formed, AD was formed, and other political parties, and APP. Now, years after, we have not practiced our politics on the basis of ideologies or convictions. There are people in America who are Republicans by tradition. Yes. They will tell you traditionally, we are Republicans in my family. They will tell you traditionally, we are Democrats in my family. And they are not ready to swing that ideology at the altar of patronage from government. But in Nigeria, our ideology is our stomach. Wherever our bread will be buttered, wherever there will be amalani, wedu, and gbegiri, that is where we swing our political conviction. So we are different from them. So that is why what everybody wants in parliament, they will tell you the ultimate game, the ultimate end of party politics is attainment of power. So no matter what it's going to take, Nigerian politicians are ready to sacrifice anything and everything to be within the governance place. You know, outside government, it's not easy to be in business in Nigeria. The fundamentals are southwards. You know how much you pay for diesel here?
Yes.
How much you will pay for electricity
Yes.
on band A? How much you pay for security? You have to provide your own water system. So as a businessman, as an industrialist, you are a local government unto yourself. So it's very harrowing and painful to be in the productive sector of the nation's economy. That's why people are migrating en masse into the political space, because there your diesel is paid.
That's where the largest is.
The largest are there. The pecs are there. So it's very attractive. And that's why our GDP is low. We are not productive as a people. If they energize, activate, and make the productive sector very attractive, there will be less attraction to government. And that's why people are suggesting that we should limit how much we pay politicians, if it's possible. Because without being productive as a people, we all crowd around government. There's no way we can birth this renewed hope that is touting. There's no way we can bring it to bear.
Well, politically speaking, if you followed what Mr. President said, he has dispelled any rumor of a one-party state.
Yeah.
However, politically, there seemed to be a sugar in the APC attracting the ants
And that's the
from
money.
other parties.
The power,
and
positions.
that's power that you said.
And positions.
But many of them, how many of them will cling on to this power?
I'm so happy that he said that he will not
Yes.
move Nigeria towards a one-party state.
But on ground, what have we
He's saying,
seen?
but in action,
Yes.
it is happening. But it is not within his power to stop that trend. It is within the power of the Nigerian people to know that one-party system is not good and ideal for us as a people.
Won't it be
Stop
detrimental to him?
hemorrhaging into APC.
Yeah.
It's detrimental to democracy if we all move towards one-party state. It's not good. Multi-party system will provide alternative narratives, and that will deepen democracy.
Doctor, in 2015, remember that Goodluck Jonathan, the then president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, had 22 governors
That's right.
endorse him, but he still lost the election.
Woefully and a loss.
As we are speaking today, with the entrance of Umo Eno of Akwa Ibom State to the APC, we have 22 governors who have endorsed President Bola Ahmed Tinubu ahead of 2027. Do you see a deja vu?
The power to elect a president lies with the people.
Yes.
Peter Obi, in 2023, did not have a single governor.
Yes.
Not a single senator.
Yes.
Not a single House of Rep member. Not a single State of Assembly member. He polled more than 6 million votes. He came third. He choked Atiku Abubakar, that came second. Tinubu came first with more than 8 million. Ali Dume, I watched his interview on one of the national television platforms, and he said something that is very instructive. He said politicians are decamping, but the people are not decamping. You should just watch what is the body language of Nigerians. Because we are going to vote ultimately. But because they rely on when they are in power, they can now use the state resources, the war chest, to compromise the people. The Boko-Sebe syndrome. But if Nigerians are resolute that we must change this government, I was in Jonathan's government. There was nothing Jonathan didn't do to stay in power. But people said no. They were able to mobilize the people to galvanize the opposition against Jonathan, and he lost. And it was very honorable in relinquishing power. He didn't attempt to manipulate the process to suit his purpose. And we should commend him for that, because he allowed democratic principles to be entrenched. So, but the power ultimately lies with us as Nigerians, not with politicians. How many people are actually politicians in Nigeria? How many people are in APC or PDP? Do your statistics and your math. We are 220 million people, registered voters. So if Nigerians decide to say, yes, good governance is our ultimate aim, and we see good governance from Wike in Segun, in Idowu, in Ahmed, we will vote for him. Obi has proved
that it is possible.
It has proved it, he proved it wrong. That it is possible that without any structure whatsoever,
Yes.
without politicians, I can mobilize, galvanize people and bring huge votes on board.
It's about the people.
It's about the people
against the
ultimately.
government.
That's right.
So we'll see a different political
Don't forget
sphere.
Bola Tinubu lost Lagos.
Yes.
His backyard. His main
Fortress.
That's right.
Yes.
He lost it. The president then, Buhari, lost Katsina.
Yes.
So we should not be carried away with this deportation. They are porting, these parties hemorrhaging, they are decamping, they are journey, they are jumping ship and stuff like that. Politicians will be politicians. And that mannerism will always manifest. Nigerians should know that the ultimate power to elect their leaders reside with them.
Well, are you looking at this coalition, this marriage of strange bedfellows right now, the coalition which we're seeing Rotimi Amechi, Nasir El-Rufai, and the likes coming together to make a point ahead of 2027 elections?
The governor of Bayelsa State, former governor,
okay, that's Dixon.
Dixon said something that was instructive during Amechi's birthday, where they all gathered and took a swipe on the ruling party. He said something. He said, all of you that I'm seeing here, you are the co-conspirators pre-2015. So what has changed? You labeled Jonathan's government as clueless, as ineffective. Now you are repeating and singing the same song. So are you really speaking for the people, or you are testing for power? Most of these people you mentioned are in the political wilderness of their life. Amechi, since 1999, has been in power consistently.
Yes.
This is the only time he's out of power equation. And he's already brooding, he's smarting, he's angry.
He's hungry.
He's hungry.
Hungry for power.
That's the truth. Ditto. But what fresh is Atiku bringing to bear? I was in Kopa in 1992.
Yes.
I was at Jos for the SDP convention,
yes,
where Abiola emerged as the flag bearer of SDP. He contested that election.
They had three
and he's been
candidates,
contesting. That's right. He's been contesting since then. So what fresh idea does he have? He was vice president under Obasanjo. These people are just thirsty for power. It's not because they have solution to our problems. They are coalescing, they are coming together because they are expressing political wilderness experience, and they want an oasis. That's what they are. Not because they love us. That's what they are looking for.
That's what El-Rufai too is
Nigerians
looking for,
should shine their eyes. That was what Dixon said. Shine your eyes. Separate the grains from the chaff. Separate lies from the truth. And vote for people that will deliver dividend of democracy for you.
Well, President Tinubu, in the exercise of his powers on Thursday, bestowed national honors on activists, journalists, scholars, and fallen pro-democracy icons. While some Nigerians lauded the president for his tribute to the heroes of the June 12, 1993 struggle, others lamented that key names were conspicuously omitted from the list. However, the late Moshood Abiola was named winner of the June 12, 1993 presidential election, regarded as the freest and fairest in the country, which was annulled by the military under General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida. But following the annulment, several prominent Nigerians who spoke vociferously against the military decision were killed, incarcerated under frivolous charges, while others went on exile for the fear of being hounded. He also granted a presidential pardon and conferred honors on the Ogoni 9, who were killed on November 10, 1995. They were led by Ken Saro-Wiwa. Other living honorees include Nobel laureate Professor Wole Soyinka, and also General Alani Akinrinade retired. Both were conferred the title of the Grand Commander of the Order of Niger, GCON. Well, that's a big deal. And then we have the list of those who were awarded the CON honors. Some of them died. There's this prominent lady, Alaja Sawaba Gambo.
That's right.
Yes.
Very well.
Alaja Sawaba Gambo, CON, but posthumously. She's late. Well, the APC spokesman, Barrister Felix Moka, and Bayo Ononuga were also conferred the title CON. Bishop Matthew Hassan Kuka, and then late Chief Frank Kokori, the activists, were all conferred the CON title. Alex Ibru, Amos Akingba, Beko Ransom Kuti, Edwin Madu Nago, and then Kayode Shonoiki were all conferred the CON title. Femi Falana wasn't left out, and then the late OPC factional leader, Frederick Fashion, was also on the list. Ken Saruiwa leading the Ogoni 9 on the list. However, he's not alive to receive that award. Ledum Mite also there, Bolaji Akinyemi, Olawale Oshun, Bayo Williams, and a host of others are part of the people conferred with the title, the CON. Well, other people were conferred the OON. The eight other Ogoni martyrs, yes, the Ogoni martyrs were conferred the OON. Meanwhile, the CFR was conferred on some of the principal officers in the National Assembly, the Deputy Speaker of the Senate and of the Federal House of Representatives and the Deputy Senate President were all conferred the title CFR. Also have Pa Ruben Fashion-Roti, who has also been conferred the CFR title. Benjamin Okezie Kalu, that's the Deputy Speaker of the Federal House of Representatives, and a host of others. Well, you also have Sani, yes, Shehu Sani, who was also conferred the title. Well, there was a largesse yesterday of titles, you know, of awards and all that. Yeah, Wole Soyinka and General Lania Kriade, do they deserve the GCON title?
I mean, that was very commendable. That was a bold and commendable effort by Mr. President. Don't forget the foundation was laid by Muhammadu Buhari,
yes,
for recognizing June 12
yes,
as our National Democracy Day.
Yeah.
That is highly commendable because Abiola deserves it. It was unfortunate that Obasanjo did not recognize Abiola whatsoever. And for 8 years I spent as president, that's why I find it very funny and curious that you find it comfortable to ignore Abiola and what Abiola represented. But that Buhari came and right the wrong that Obasanjo caused. I think we must celebrate Buhari for this singular effort. And Tinubu has now added icing on the cake that Buhari baked by recognizing this activist.
Yes.
They actually made sacrifices. They fought the military. I was a reporter. They were in the trenches. To interview them was tough. They took risk to confront Abacha.
Some of them were even running radio Kudira.
That's right.
In hiding.
That's right. They were running in hiding. Newspapers were closed. They made sacrifices. If everybody was silenced, like Abacha wished, we would not be where we are today. Abacha wished that Nigerians were silenced, but they were not silenced. They spoke. They were the lone voices in the ocean of people that were rushing to Abacha for largesse and for pecks of office. So they deserve commendation. They deserve the recognition. It's commendable. It's a bold effort. Many more of such activists should be commended and should be recognized.
Well, the annulment of the freest election in Nigeria history sparked a movement that eventually birthed a democracy in 1999.
That's right.
But 26 years after, are we living up to the dreams of those who fought for this freedom? Have we progressed or have we stagnated?
Democracy is a journey and not a destination. We are not where we should be, obviously. Look around yourself. There are gaps. Social infrastructure, even in freedom, insecurity. But when you look at where we were, democracy-wise, we were not there. We have moved. We've taken steps. Even our electoral process has witnessed some growth.
A leap.
It has grown in leaps and bounds. It's not yet sanitized. It's not clean yet. It's not the best yet. But we have moved. And I think democracy is the best form of government. And we should continue to safeguard it jealously, to protect it. We are not there when you look at the fact that politicians are still misbehaving. Politicians are not delivering, they are not making good their promises. And even the people, they don't even know their rights under the Constitution in a democracy. That's why they can compromise them. That's why a man will sell his birthright for 25,000 naira on election day and suffer for 4 years. But we are going to grow into it. Like I said, it is a journey, not a destination. And the journey is continuous. American democracy is how many years old? They are still perfecting the process.
Yeah.
A Trump emerged. They never envisaged that a man like Trump,
the same people who sent him out of government,
that's right,
brought him back.
He's back in there. That tells you that election is largely emotional. People vote for emotions, and that you continue to perfect it. You continue to discuss democracy, continue to look for the gaps within the system. How do we bridge the gap? How do we have a good system? Well, so I think we'll get there.
Earlier, we were talking about the gains of democracy, and then you started mentioning some of them, like the multi-party system. You also talked about it. But let's look at the political gains of our democracy. We've had a multi-party system where we have so many parties involved, so the people have choices to make. You talked about the electoral improvement too, about the beavers. Those are gains of our democracy. But if you look at the economic gains, they seem little. Although some will say we've had private sector growth, but right now in Nigeria, we know many companies have left the country because of economic policies and all that. And then you also look at our foreign direct investment, our FDIs. At this moment, MBS is saying one thing, but in reality, we are seeing something different. Our FDI, according to government, has grown in leaps and bounds. However, in reality, we're still yet to see the true position of things, as it were. So would you say we've made gains democratically when it comes to the economic sector?
Yeah, I will say yes. No, we have not made enough gains, economically speaking. Okay. I think what Obasanjo left in terms of the strength of our economy, what Jonathan left the largest economy in Africa. That's what he bequeathed on Buhari. That's what we have today. I think we are the 5th largest economy in Africa, and that's such a shame. With 220 million people, we should be the largest economy in Nigeria, and we have the potential. We have what it takes to lead Africa as far as economy is concerned. We should be in G7. They should be talking to us. Our infrastructure should have developed beyond where we are today. Inflation is biting. An average Nigerian is going through hardship. Hardship. He can't meet his needs every day. His salary cannot even take him home. So that is regrettable. But that speaks to the fact that we should be holistic in appraising our economy. We should be holistic in giving a definite direction to bailing this nation out of the doldrum. We should migrate southward, up north, economically speaking, data speaking, and statistically speaking. But that's what we are saying. If Nigerian leaders can continue to bandy around all manner of figures, say this, we have done this, but in reality, what is the man in Gbagi saying? What is the woman in election lawyer saying? What is the man in Challenge saying? Is it better off today? No, I don't think it's better off today. So it's a challenge. But discussion continues.
Yeah.
We should continue to discuss how to better the lot of our economy. I mentioned something earlier on. Until we shift attention from a rent-seeking economy to the productive economy, we continue to discuss this. There are no two ways to growing a nation economically speaking. Production, productivity. We can't even feed ourselves. It's a shame that recently the president had to allow free reign of imported food items into Nigeria to cushion the inflation and the effect of prices or high prices of food items. Such a shame. And we live in a rainforest. Traveling from Osogbo to here, left, right, and center, they are lush grounds. You go up north, you go to Benue, the food basket of the nation. People cannot go to a farm because of insecurity. It's just a shame. Until we get those parameters right, fix insecurity, allow power to be available and affordable so that in your background, you can start to manufacture something. China is on the race to the #1 economy in the world because it's a very productive economy. China is giving America a challenge because they are very productive. America, the biggest economy in the world, is the biggest because it's very productive. And that's what Trump is saying. He's bringing the industries back. Our industries must come back alive.
Somebody must be held responsible.
And that's the president.
A leader.
And that's the leader, yeah.
So are you saying that the leader is not only the president, we have governors too?
That's right.
Are you saying that our leaders are intellectually lazy?
I will say to a great extent, those who have been leading us have not been the best of us.
Okay.
And what you need to lead is ideas. Ideas rule the world, the right ideas. People are shocked when I tell them that I actually support withdrawal of fuel subsidy. I believe we cannot continue to borrow to subsidize consumption. We should borrow to provide basic infrastructure. I support flotation of the Naira because the Naira must be able to find its correct and its appropriate level.
It should have some respect.
That's right. And not being supported or being sustained by borrowed fund. Every month during while we were sustaining Naira at that price with $1.5 billion every month. That was a sheer waste. That could have gone into the productive sector of the economy. But now, the president should realize the fact that these twin policies are causing a lot of hardship for Nigerians. And how do we cushion the effect that these twin policies have caused so that Nigerians can breathe? Like he said, let the poor breathe. The poor in Nigeria are not breathing. They are being choked. They are suffocating. They are actually dying. And it beholds on him as the visionary. So when people elect you as the leader within a space, you are the visionary. You are the mastermind. You are the policy maker. You are the change maker. They look up to you to give direction. But when you fail to give appropriate direction and you fail to deliver on the promises you made, you lead people astray. And they be groaning, as Nigerians are groaning. I think Mr. President should please, as a social democrat that he is, should assemble the best of us to govern us at the center. And most often than when we discuss economy, we don't discuss governance.
Yes.
The subnationals, the governors, who are now receiving ×3 of what they used to receive before, should be up and doing. They should do what they should do, and they should do their best. They should ensure they should do their best to ensure that they create productive cells within their state and their environment.
Well, you just talked about the governors now, and then because of our time, let's just delve into governance and the governor. Osun State election will be sometime in August next year, as released by the Independent Electoral Commission recently, and then that's August 2026. How is the upbeat in Osun like? Adeleke, that's the incumbent governor, seemed to be dancing his way into 2026. However, the opposition seemed to be quiet, but there is a movement from the PDP to the APC. Do you see a dislodge one way or the other? And then also looking at the center, the power from the center, would you see an influence of the APC in Osun State? Or would it be Uhuru for Governor Ademola Adeleke?
Since INEC announced that Osun State gubernatorial election we hold as an off-cycle election on the 8th of August 2026, the political temperature has been on the increase. And it's expected. So opposition have been very active. But let me tell you, all things being equal, Governor Ademola Adeleke will be re-elected.
Okay.
Because he has been on point. He has been audacious. He has been very pragmatic in delivering dividends of democracy for the people of Osun State. I live in Osun State. I've been living there since 1992. He has changed the landscape infrastructure-wise. Osogbo has infrastructure like never before. Ede has like never before. Ikiru like never before, Ife like never before, then Ilesha like never before. So ordinary people on the street of Osogbo, Ilesha, Ife, in Osun indeed, they are clamoring for his return because they had the experience of being governed by APC for 12 years continuously. And they cannot just oppose their experience under Adeleke. Adeleke, to a great extent, has fixed infrastructure, like I said earlier on. He has fixed education. He's fixing the earth sector. He's fixing virtually all the sectors of the economy. And the people are happy. And what is most important is this. You know, Osun is an agrarian state. It's a civil service state. The civil servants are very happy. Osun witnessed an experience under Aregbesola, the half-salary experience. That has been reversed. Salaries of civil servants are being paid as at when due. The pensioners are happy, and they are celebrating. And of course, he is even paying the salaries being owned under APC. He's paying the arrears of salary that they were being owned under APC. So the civil servants are very happy. All things being equal, yes, is indeed one House of Rep member jumped the ship. Yes. He joined the APC, Wole Oke. But you need to understand why. Wole Oke has been in the saddle as House of Rep member for 5 consecutive terms. Yes. He represents 2 local governments, Uriade and Ubokun. And the party is saying it's time for another local government to be represented. Like I told you, a politician does not want to be told that you will not go back. After spending 20 years as House of Rep member. And I think that's fair enough. Okay. So you don't use that as yardstick to measure a migration from PDP to APC. As far as Osun is concerned, as far as Adeleke is concerned, I think he's doing well and people are happy with him. And it stands, recently there was a survey conducted by an independent body. And Adeleke came 66%. Okay. He has 60% chances to be re-elected, of winning the election 2026.
Okay, so lastly, before we go, at just in 10 seconds, is Aregbesola with Adeleke?
I don't think so. Aregbesola is leading a third force.
Remember, he has been suspended from the APC.
And there are chances and every likelihood that he joins ADC. Okay. He's romancing with the articles of this world, with El-Rufais of this world, with Kayode Fayemis of this world. Okay. That is why he will swing his political pendulum.
Will there be an alliance with the PDP or with the APC?
I don't know. Obviously, I don't see a likely alliance with the APC, but I see a likely alliance with the PDP.
Well, we wish all the people of Osun State the best as they move on. Well, today we've reflected on Nigeria's democratic journey, its triumphs and trials. The future depends on active citizenship, holding leaders accountable, and also believing in Nigeria's potentials. Thank you, Dr. Femi Adefila, for setting an agenda today on the agenda.
Thank you.
All right. Well, Dr. Adefila is the chairman, CEO, Rave FM 91.7 and Western Springs Television, a broadcast journalist, media manager, and political communication expert. Let's keep the conversation going. Do follow us on all our social media platforms on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok is at Dominion Broadcast. And on the app X is at Dominion Cast. Also visit our website www.dominion.org.ng. My name is Chike Obogu, urging every Nigerian to play their part in shaping a better nation. Enjoy the rest of your day and stay safe.